Welcome back to Open Line. We're just going to go right back to the phones. Let's go to Mac. Hello, Mac.
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I have several things on my mind. I don't have a lot of my friends that are felons trying to stand up and register to vote. But I have some problems with people that are registered sex offenders that can't register themselves. I think we should focus on that. Other than register people to vote, let's get these other people registered. Those sex offenders, let's go after them people.
Okay. So you don't...
We'll do the voting later.
Okay. All right. You heard his concern there. You know, what about that?
Again, I think this is a common bit of feedback, and then we want to make sure that folks understand that, you know, if you're a criminal and you've not yet been apprehended or you need to pay your debt to society, we're going to make sure that we prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. Nobody's taking anything away from that. We have a very, very stiff criminal penalties in this state. In fact, we're looking now at a complete overhaul of the adult sentencing code over the next couple of years to make sure that we've got the appropriate punishment for the appropriate crimes. So again, these are folks who have paid their debt to society, they finished their probation and parole, and don't forget, many crimes are excluded from this, and so there are certain crimes for which you can never receive your right to vote back in Tennessee. But for those who make it through, for those who have a willingness to help themselves, and who've gone through the steps that we've asked them to go through, all this bill is about is making sure that we don't create a convoluted bureaucratic mess at the end of that race, at the end of that finish line.
Let's go to Allie. Hello, Allie.
Yes, hello.
Hi, go right ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I actually have a couple of questions, and I'm not real clear about why voter rights are taken in the first place. It doesn't, I mean, I can understand somebody, you know, has multiple DUIs and we take their driver's license, or somebody commits a violent crime and we don't allow them to purchase guns in the future. Those kinds of things make sense to me, but why do we take the voice of people, you know, arguably millions of people in the country? For what reason do we take those rights in the first place?
Okay, thank you. It's part of the punishment, I guess, but I'll let...
Undoubtedly, it's at least in part a punitive instinct, I think, and that's maybe been the history of it. And yet, we are a country of second chances. We are a country, almost to a person, that is about redemption and forgiveness. And so, I'm with her on the question.
Not only for the folks who have served time, but for all of us in society, right, who remembering that in the number from Florida, 94% of folks with convictions have re-entered society. So this is about really protecting all of our communities and keeping us all safe and reducing that recidivism rate.
And I'd say there's some value to having a timeout, so to speak. I mean, if you've committed a crime, and again, we want to make sure that we prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law, but once we've done that, and once you've done everything we've asked you to do, that's what we're talking about here tonight.
You wanted to make sure people understood a couple of things, right? About recidivism and something else. What did you want to hammer home?
Sure, yeah, thanks. So, you know, we're 40th in the nation for recidivism, and we are 49th in the nation for our violent crime rate. We have one of the highest violent crime rates as a state in the country. So what if we could reduce that recidivism rate in the way that statistics show are the case, right? Voting rights, it's a small piece, of course. Like you mentioned, Chairman, you're thinking about where you're going to sleep at night, what your job's going to be, how you're going to get some education. But they've been able to isolate folks a lot smarter than me and realize that returning this, you know, restoring the eligibility to register to vote does reduce recidivism. And so what if we could reduce recidivism and lower our violent crime rate?
Okay, let's go to Derek. Hello, Derek, are you there? Derek, are you there?
Yes.
All right, go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Yes. Hello?
Hello, Derek, you can go. What's on your mind?
Hey, want to know if you've been out of prison for quite some time, why is it that do you have to go and get expunged to be able to vote? Can you hear me?
Yes. All right.
I'll let you talk about
Sure, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
There's a lot that you have to do, Derek, to get your rights back. And the way, I mean, the interesting thing, and Betty, I bet you've experienced this with some of the clients that you work with, but different folks sometimes get different answers about the steps that they need to take. But from what we can tell, once you are eligible to re-register to vote, and that sort of depends on when you were convicted of a certain crime. So if you were convicted in 1 year, maybe you are eligible. If you're convicted in another, well, now you're banned for life. But if you can run that gauntlet, you have to, it's about 5 steps involving 4 different government offices. So it's not always expungement, Derek, but it's a pretty complicated process that really deserves to be streamlined.
And do you want to add anything?
I think we should do another show about expungement, actually. So I'm glad he raised that topic. Maybe next time.
Okay. Maybe we can get one more in here. Let's go to Randy. Hello, Randy. Are you there, Randy?
Yes.
Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Oh, thank you. Yes, what I wanted to bring up a little bit was back in the 90s, I got in a fight with my boss man because he was dating, well, he wasn't really dating, he was going with my wife behind my back. And I told him in the office if I caught him doing that, I was going to whip the daylights out of him because that's no respect. I was driving a truck for him, long distance to California, back up here to Kroger.
Okay.
Now, after I get in this fight and everything, of course, they've got an attorney and everything. They got my money, so I don't have no attorney. I've got a district, a little, the people that help you when you don't have any.
Public defender. Okay.
Him in there. And then he retired 2 weeks or 3 weeks after he got me to plead guilty to a charge to go to CCA. So when I went to CCA, I went out there and helped the teachers teach school to help the kids and the younger people get their...
Are you able to vote, Randy? Are you able to vote? We're going to have to go. Do you have your voting rights right now?
No, I have none. I didn't know
okay.
what to do to get them.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back, wrap everything up. Thank you for sharing your story, Randy. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.